Audrey and Julian kind of have this a similar dynamic as Obi and Julian, in that, that's a really strong bond. But with that being said, it's like there are still a lot of things that they have to work through to even get down to that core of their connection. So you'll just have to see if they're able to work it out.
I really enjoyed the show. This season I watched up to episode 7. So whatever you talk about, this will drop after episode 7 has aired. But my God, every time I think, they've done everything they can. You guys keep upping the stakes in the drama and the craziness. How was it going to this season after having spent a whole year now in the gossip world?
It was great. I was really excited to get back to it, get back to all the fabulous clothes and my castmates, and all of the sets are super nostalgic. It's like going back into something. The first time you do it, it's like everything's so brand new. But this time it was like really nostalgic, and especially visiting the school sets was really fun.
Nothing is easy with COVID, but I know during season 1 you guys had it really challenging. But now, having already done it for 1 year, how was the experience this year shooting it as an actor during these circumstances?
Yeah, that's true. It's like you kind of get into the flow of things, and the first year that we did it, everyone's just figuring out what you're supposed to do anyway, and then we're learning it. So yeah, you kind of get into like a rhythm of everything that you're doing. You're testing 3 to 4 times a week, and you make sure to have your mask on you, even though you take it off when you're acting. So you kind of get like this rhythm. But yeah, it's there to keep us safe, so it's not too bad.
Well, you were talking about the fashion on the show, which I feel like I'm just so out of date when I hear these brand names and those brand names. I'm just like, okay, I'm just from a different generation. I've accepted it. But like as you are Julian, do you get to, like, how much input do you get to have in what she looks like, when you're talking to the costume department, or like what does that process look like? Because I've always been fascinated about that with both this Gossip Girl show and the following one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Eric Damon is incredible. I would pretty much just wear anything he handed me. So it's really easy. Everything that he puts forward or that I try on, I'm like, yes. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have that much input because I just say yes to everything. But I think all of it's great.
Has there been a time when you're like, when you're not shooting the show, you see something like, I don't know, like in a store, whatever, you're kind of like, oh my God, this is something Julian would totally wear, and you're like, oh, maybe we can do this next time?
I actually think of that all the time. And there was a magazine in the wardrobe fitting room, and I remember I like showed the page to Eric. I was like, I think Julian would look great in this. He was like, yeah, totally. So he's really open and receptive, to ideas and stuff. But honestly, I'm such a big fan of his work that we align most of the time anyway.
As I watched up to episode 7, and we gotta talk about Obi and Julian there. So what is going on with that?
I mean, I feel like first love never dies, right? Like they just have something with each other and a connection that is just so deep and integral to like who they are as people, because it happened when they were so young that, it's kind of always there, no matter how worried it gets or confused. I think that if they're able to work it out, it's always there.
Do you see them as the end game for the show? Have you guys not gotten that far yet?
I don't know. I don't know what the writers and Josh Safran would cook up for this, but I feel like they do seem to be characters that just always find a way to come back to each other. They're like missing each other, but they always are orbiting. And especially because that's their friend group, they're never really going to be able to get away from each other.
Yeah, it's not like they can be like, okay, I get this side, I get custody of these friends, and you get custody of these friends.
Exactly.
But one other dynamic I love on the show is obviously Julian and Zoya, which I feel like it's like an emotional roller coaster between these sisters. Where are they going for the rest of the season? Because I think there's like 3 or 4 episodes left now. So how much intense does it get between them now?
All of that times infinity. Like it just all seems to be culminating up into the finale. It's honestly like everyone's relationship just like blowing up. And then you have the finale, which I won't give any spoilers away, but there is just a complete explosion of drama. And
Sorry, go on.
between Zoya and Julian as well.
Well, I was talking to Joshua Saffron last week, and he and I pulling up one of the quotes because he said something very intriguing about Julian for the rest of the season that I really want to get your take on. Julian, in her effort to always rise above and do good, doesn't realize that actually she's crossed a line. That line she crosses, she can't come back from. She just goes further and further crossing it. It's definitely a dark night of the soul for Julian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried now. What does this mean?
Yeah, you should be worried. If you're worried about the well-being of Julian, it's a worrisome situation because it's almost exactly that. Like she's trying very hard to figure out how to get herself back on track, but she's just so deep in it that there's just really no hope to kind of finding her way. She's not even close and getting farther away. So yeah. It's so sad to see. It's kind of like a train wreck. Like she just keeps like, I mean, you saw it with the Audrey's and the dress situation, it's like her intentions are kind of good, but there's something in there that is just getting so messed up and causing everything to just derail.
That was funny. That was my next question because I don't remember last time. I don't even remember from the old show when it got this dramatic over a dress getting unveiled. And so, because Audrey and Julian are so tight, can they recover from this, or might the season end with them still being at odd ends?
Well, without giving away too much, I feel like Audrey and Julian kind of have a similar dynamic as Obi and Julian, in that that's a really strong bond. But with that being said, it's like there are still a lot of things that they have to work through to even get down to that core of their connection. So you'll just have to see if they're able to work it out.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of drama, in the episodes that I've seen, Miss Georgina Sparks comes back, and I just want to see her engage, interact with this generation. Did you get to film anything with her? I'm not going to ask for spoil, but did you actually get to do anything with her?
I will say that I was on set at the same time that she was on set. And she was incredible, like such a force, and especially all the drama that she brings to the show and brought to the original. Like you will not be disappointed. It's very wild.
The dynamic between Julian and Gossip Girl has gone so much back and forth this season. Because again, I feel at some point, Julian will be probably one of the first people to discover who the real Gossip Girl is. What can you tease about their? I don't know what to call it anymore. Like I don't know if I'm calling it conflict, if I'm calling it like a frenemy. Is this dynamic? Like what's up with that?
Well, I think that it's like another one of Julian's really misguided ideas where she thinks that she can maybe tap into this and somehow do some good, but also maybe her logic is not necessarily steeped with the intention to do some good. I think that she's just really, really a very deeply confused person, which is kind of makes her like Gossip Girl and like Kate. Kate has this idea that she's trying to make all these people better, but maybe if you really got deep down to her reasonings for doing this stuff, it's not necessarily pure intentions. And maybe that's why it's causing so much chaos.
Would you say that maybe that's a part of Julian's coming of age story? So because they're still high schoolers, even though they act very adult and like they go to all these events. So I always forget at the end of the day, these are still kids. They're still growing up. But is that how you see it too? Like at some point, she may actually grow out of that.
Yeah, like I feel like it makes sense for her to be trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong and getting it very, very wrong. But yeah, I think it is definitely part of her developmental growth period. And hopefully she's able to, but then we wouldn't have any more drama. So
there could be drama in college.
There definitely can be drama in college.
Well, I mean, because I'm hoping for season 3, and I know, we haven't heard about it yet. Like, is there anything on your personal, since we're in the holiday spirit, anything on your wishes that you want to see for your character as the show goes on, if it comes back for season 3?
Personally, I think it'd be just so fun to play like a all-out, full-on villain. It was so fun to see Savannah get to go crazy with Monet and just have her totally wreak havoc. So I think it would be interesting to have Julian do that because she's never really done it. She's been like dragged into it by like Luna and Monet, or it was an accident or it wasn't intentional. So I would be very interested to see what would happen if Julian put her mind to actually trying to mess things up and not just stumbling into all the drama and chaos. Hey, maybe then everything would go right. Maybe her problem is trying to be so good.
You're saying that she's born to be a villain, maybe? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what it is, because it just doesn't seem to be working out for her to just try and like be the best version of herself.
I'm trying to imagine a world where maybe like, you're talking about, because I cover a lot of comic book superhero stuff. So I'm thinking if Julian would enter that villain phase of her life, I'm thinking, what if she just became the new Gossip Girl somehow? Like, is that something that a mind has crossed your thought of like, what if she was the new Gossip Girl at some point? Like, how could that look?
Yeah, absolutely. And like takes out Kate somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they start working together. I feel like their misguided sense of morality is similar. So that they might end up being like partners or something.
My last question for you before I let you go. You were talking about Monet and Julian's dynamic this year, because how much fun did you and Savannah have shifting, because you had such a specific relationship in season 1, and now it's throughout season 2 it's been very, very intense. So how much fun did you guys have as actors, and where will they keep the peace by the end of the season?
It's very, very hard to say. There's a lot of bad things that go down. But it was super fun to play that dynamic because, in season 1, it was pretty much opposite. Monet is basically just helping Julian the whole time. So it was really fun to see Monet revolt and really like almost stake her claim on Constance. Savannah and I had a great time, especially with the fountain scene. That was just so brilliant. And she did such a great job, like just plunging herself into that water. It was so cool. And
besides, right now promoting season 2, what are you working on right now that fans can look forward to see you in?
It's nothing to do with acting, but I'm working on an album that will be out next year. I actually just finished recording it, and I'm starting prepping the music videos. So I have a wonderful project to offer for anyone who's looking for that.
That's awesome to hear. Well, congrats on what's been an amazing second season. I'm crossing my fingers for all you guys to get a season 3, because listen, this drama is delicious. Drama is delicious. I'm just going to admit it. It is delicious. And I want to see where these characters go. So, but happy holidays to you, and hopefully we'll speak in the future.
Happy holidays, Andy. You have a good one.
Bye.